Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all the brothers who took time out on Sunday before taking out larger time, inshallah, for the itikaf itself, coming out for this orientation. Inshallah, we will let you out very quickly as soon as you go through the presentation and some guidelines so you can prepare for the itikaf, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So as they're setting up the PowerPoint, inshallah, I will just go over some of the rules and guidelines, and then we'll go through the presentation itself. So there's nothing to see on the screen right now for you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So Masjid Darus Salam, in our itikaf, we aim to foster an environment that is maximally conducive to spiritual growth. Why are we here? We are all here to grow spiritually. Just like we get admitted to a hospital to cure ourselves of physical sicknesses, we are coming and we are admitting ourselves for 10 days, inshallah, in this intensive care unit. Why? There's a medical intensive care unit, MICU, and there's a SICU, a surgical intensive care unit. So this is another SICU, this is a spiritual intensive care unit, not the surgical intensive care. May Allah protect us from the surgical intensive care unit. But this is a spiritual intensive care unit. Why are we here? To gain spiritual growth. We always have to keep our purpose in mind. During the itikaf program in the last 10 days of Ramadan. So in order to achieve this, certain guidelines have been set in place. The more we are aware of them and we are punctual regarding them and adhere to them and cooperate with the volunteers, then it will be helpful for everyone. Number one is that the programs that will take place throughout the day during the itikaf program are open to all. All the brothers and sisters can listen from the women's side. This is throughout the day. However, only brothers will be allowed to spend the night. So every year we have this question repeating that can my daughters continue to hear the programs, the late night sessions that we will have. So we do not have facility for sisters to spend the night here. We will talk about this women's itikaf in the presentation. The sisters section will close after the tafsir. So after Isha and Witr and Taraweeh and Witr, then there is tafsir. After the tafsir, please note, the sister section will close immediately after tafsir and will open before Fajr. Number two, the overnight stay at the masjid, it will be only open to men aged 19 or older. What about the youth? Do we forget about the youth? No, we have been having this year especially every Saturday throughout Ramadan, every weekend, even last weekend, the whole night we were here. We had youth qiyams for all these youth from 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We had 150 youth or 75 youth and they were here the whole night. We had question and answer sessions, gave them time for their tarbiyah, and also had time for them to play basketball and sports. So we have the youth qiyam for them, but we do not want them to be participating in this youth in our 10-day itikaf. Why? Due to past experience, that the entire environment gets spoiled, and they have different requirements, and they have different attention levels and spans, and they bring their entertainment with them, they bring their games with them, they bring on their phones and all kinds of different activities happening in the masjid that we do not want to see happening in Ramadan and itikaf and Laylatul Qadr. So that is why last year was 16, now we went up to 19 because of some experiences we had. Any child, so some of the mutakifin, they send emails to me already, those registered that I have an 8-year-old son, can he stay with me during the whole 10-day itikaf? So that is not something that will be possible to have your little boys with you. They will not be able to benefit. It will become a hassle for you and others. Any child younger than 19 will be allowed to attend the programs in the day as long as they are accompanied by their father or guardian, but not the whole itikaf. All those intending to perform itikaf are required to register online prior to coming. Did everyone here register? Raise your hand if you registered. MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khairan. We want to make sure that somebody asked, what about nafal? Why do I have to register for nafal? Because we don't want to have less food and you're left hungry, nor do we want to have extra food that we throw away. So we just want to order every night enough food for how many people are coming, so that's why we need to know. This applies to both those intending and performing full 10-day itikaf need to register, and those performing itikaf for shorter period of time also need to register. So registration is mandatory, and wristbands will be given to you. And different colors indicating whether you're sunnah itikaf or nafal itikaf. And those without wristbands will not be allowed to stay overnight in the masjid. We have different people, we have different travelers coming through. Sometimes truckers, they come, they park their semi-trucks and they come want to take a shower and sleep overnight. So what happens is, this pavement in the parking lot, as active members of the community, the members of the masjid, you also can be active in this regard, that if you see a semi-truck, our contractor for the parking lot expansion just informed us that there's 3 inches of asphalt only. And trucks are not allowed. They have to have about 6 to 9 inches of asphalt. He said this asphalt will tear up if you have trucks here. Many people, times truckers come and they want to park their whole loaded truck overnight. I did not know, you do not know as laymen, but they know that this parking lot is not designed and made for carrying the load of trucks, and the parking lot will crack. So we have to tell them that you cannot park here in the masjid. They can park across the street in Speedway gas station, which has a truck gas station as well, and then come to the masjid. So brothers are, all musallis and Muslims are welcome, but only the trucks, we're saying, are not welcome. So we have all kinds of people. We don't want, homeless shelters are very necessary part of our deen, but there's a separate facility for that. So people coming in just for having meals and sleeping overnight, they're not registered. We don't want other problems, security problems. We want your property to be safe. So there's a lot of reasons why we want people to have the wristbands. We had these wristbands available here, but I tried it, I did not like it, I didn't feel it was comfortable, I didn't want people to be irritated in itikaf, so we're ordering nicer ones, so they will be comfortable for you to wear. Even though we already have wristbands available in the office, but we're getting nicer, soft ones that are comfortable. So inshallah, you will not have a hassle wearing the wristband. I'm even going to such length at explaining it because sometimes people say, "Ye kya zarurat hai iske? Why unnecessary thing? Why this wristband? Khamakha mushkil bana rahe hamare liye," right? So there is reasons behind it. We have all kinds of people coming in the masjid as a public place, and with accommodations and food. You never know who's coming with which intention. So it's our responsibility to keep the place safe for everyone. And then point number 3, all these programs that are being conducted by Masjid Darus Salam during the itikaf, and you will see that in the schedule, they have been organized for the express benefit of those performing itikaf. It's for you. The program is for you. Attendees are strongly encouraged to make a conscious effort to participate in all programs. This would be the height of loss and mahrumiyat and being deprived, that you are in itikaf and the program is for you, and you just not participate. You just go on, start surfing on the internet on your phone, checking email, or miss the programs. So of course, if you are overcome by sleep, you're very exhausted, tired, go take a rest. But otherwise, do not waste the time of the program in frivolous activities, naturally. We would hope so. This time you have dedicated for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so make the most of it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 4, attendees should bring their own bedding. Bring your own bedding. We do not provide beds. That's one thing we have not done yet, maybe in the future. Personal items. Bring all your own toiletries, inshallah. Your clothes, your prescription medications. Please bring your personal Quran if you want to keep a mark of how far you're reading and you want to complete your khatam, inshallah, recite 3 juz a day in 10 days. This year, based on the visibility forecast of the moon, we are very lucky. We will have, inshallah, it looks like 90% chance or more of full 10 days. Last 2 or 3 years, we've been having 9 days only. Now we will have full 10 days, inshallah. So if you do 3 juz a day, you can finish 1 khatam of the Quran. You have to make your own goal. Any Islamic books, bring Islamic books. Bring your own seerah book, bring your own authentic fiqh book, any tafsir book, any Islahi book, any Hadith book, Fadail book, Muntakhab Hadith, whatever, any book of Hadith. Bring your own tasbih so you can make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the mornings and evenings. Bring a notebook to take notes because we will have an Aqidah workshop after Dhuhr, which will be more academic. We will have spiritual sessions, we will have academic sessions. After Dhuhr will be an academic session with the presentation on Aqidah. So you want to be able to take notes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Allama bil qalam." He taught with the pen. So if you want to become a student of ilm, then you have to use the pen. He didn't say "Allama bis sam'i." He taught with the ears, that you can hear and learn. Right? He said "Allama bil qalam." اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم. Number 5, personal belongings. All personal belongings and bedding are to be kept neatly in the assigned areas. So there will be one classroom downstairs which is part of the masjid. Therefore you can enter that classroom, which is key, which will be a storage area. This is one of the problem areas. You know, we have the feedback form at the end. The food is excellent, the program is excellent, but all the positive things come in, mashallah. But area for improvement, they always say, is organization of the bedding, because it becomes so messy and disorganized. So we are trying to get new shelving and bigger size shelving, because the previous shelving we had, the sleeping bag couldn't fit inside. We're going to have nice shelving. We're ordering it now and set it up in the classroom, so we'll have assigned space. This is where the Sunnah people, you put your bedding. In the assigned area. Now, downstairs is called multi-purpose hall. What does a multi-purpose hall mean? Multiple purposes. And it truly is a multi-purpose hall. And we will see that used to its maximum in Ramadan i'tikaf. Because multi-purpose hall means that is the same room where you will sleep. So all the bedding will be out in the main hall downstairs. That is the same room you will eat. So all the bedding will be gone, clean and rolled up and put in the classroom, and all the tarps will be put out, and the ma'duba or the dastakhan, the tablecloth will be spread out, and everyone will be eating there. That is the same room the woman will be praying Tarawih. You will not see a single man there. All the men will be out of there. So that means we have to know when the time comes, Asar se na? Asar se pehle bistar out. Yeah, so all the bedding will be out before Asr. We have to pick up our bedding before Asr and put it in the classroom, because after that Maghrib iftar is going to be in the same hall. After that dinner will be in the same hall. And after we eat our dinner and leave, quickly wrap up, then all the women, our sisters and mothers and daughters and wives, they will be performing Tarawih in that same hall. That's why we need the expansion. You will be the first witness of that. Why we need the expansion, so we can have a dedicated hall for women's prayer. Inshallah, the new West Wing will be a dedicated hall for women's prayer, then you wouldn't have to wrap up your bedding right away. Inshallah. So that's why make dua for the expansion project and donate for that too. We have still not found any contractor who says, "Bas aapki duaein chahiye." So everyone, that means, sorry, in Urdu, in English it means, we didn't find any contractor who says, "All I need is your duas." So they need the money as well. Maybe I should have saved that joke for the fundraiser. So it'll be repeat for you. Okay. So personal belongings and bedding are to be kept neatly in the assigned areas. Under no circumstances should belongings and bedding be kept in the main prayer hall. We can't leave it there. So we have to pick up everything and put it. So unfortunately, this is a chore. But you have no other exercise. You'll be eating so much, koi movement nahi hoga. There'll be no movement. So at least this is a movement for you. Pick up the bedding, put it in the class. Bedding should be folded and sleeping bags rolled upon waking up. A special effort needs to be made to ensure that the masjid remains neat and clean so that all can remain comfortable. Right? We have to all try to keep it clean. What happens sometimes, we have the experience where people are in itikaf, something happens, they come into a special mode that I'm in itikaf. So I'm in this very special state. So literally, it's right next to them. They'll tell people, "Oh, come here, pick up this garbage." It's no problem, we can pick it up ourselves. We don't have to point out garbage to other people. Come pick it up from here. Main itikaf mein hu. Kya samajh rahe aap? Right? So it's not like that. We can help in cleaning the masjid as well. That I can assure you from the fiqh perspective is not contrary to any of the rules of itikaf, that do not participate in cleaning the masjid. You can clean the masjid. Okay. Then number 6, tablets, not medicine tablets, the electronic device, and laptop computers and other similar electronics are strongly discouraged unless there's some extreme necessity in the masjid premises during itikaf program. We do not want this to become a cyber cafe. All the mu'takifin sitting with their laptops, surfing in different areas of the web. In fact, if you are very blessed to be under the age of 21, very young, then you are required to turn in your phones at the time of registration. Those above 21, we don't want, especially for the youth, they have more attractions on the phone, then we request them to turn in their phones under 21. Number 7, Masjid al-Islam aims to cultivate an environment of ibadah, devotion, and spiritual growth during the i'tikaf program. In i'tikaf, one cuts oneself entirely off from the outside world. I'tikaf ka matlab yahi hai. This is the meaning of i'tikaf, to cut yourself out from the outside world, temporarily, in order to fully focus on developing and strengthening one's connection with Allah Ta'ala. So you cut yourself off from the entire creation, and then you develop your bond with the Khaliq. That was the ideal. That was what it's supposed to be. Limited time in our Islam. That's the difference between Islam and the other religion, Christianity. In Surah Al-Hadid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَرَهْبَانِيَّ ابْتَدَعُوهَا مَا كَتَبْنَاهَا عَلَيْهِمْ. Rahbaniya meaning taking vows of celibacy and not getting married and divorcing oneself from all worldly engagements and going into the monasteries and becoming a monk or a nun. A nun, she never gets married. A priest never is supposed to get married, nor is supposed to be doing the other haram things they're doing nowadays, right? So that means they said that they will never get married and they will dedicate their life for Allah. So much sacrifice, so much mujahada they are doing. Allah Ta'ala says, مَا كَتَبْنَا عَلِيهِمْ. I did not make this farad upon them. They created this from their own side. And Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, during his khilafah, when he went to Syria and Palestine and to accept the keys of Jerusalem, he passed by some Christian monasteries and he saw them and he said, خَسِرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. They lost out in the pleasures of the world and the hereafter. This is the biggest loss. So what they do for their entire life, this is a small sample of that just for 10 days. Because they do not get married for their entire life. But in an i'tikaf, it is haram to have physical relations with one's spouse, with one's lawfully wedded spouse. You also are becoming celibate for 10 days. The one who is fasting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the one who is fasting, فَالْأَنَا بَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَابْتَغُوا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. It is permissible to have relations in the night. In the day while you're fasting, it's not permissible to have relation with a spouse, but it is permissible at night. وَلَا تُبَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. This is a small fiqhi masala, but it's in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah. You are not allowed to have relations with your wives when you are in itikaf in the masjid. There is no facility for that. Right? So this is something which is not permissible. So what does that mean? That means you're cutting yourself off physically, just like in ihram. For a short period of time, you're turning away from the entire makhluk and trying to develop the link with the Khaliq. To strengthen that link, then you have to go back to the makhluk. When the Eid goes back, you go Eid now with strangers. Go back and have Eid with family. It's haram to fast. It's haram to fast on the day of Eid. Here it's haram to have relations before Eid. And then Eid ka din aa gaya to, ab roza rakhna hi haram. It's haram to fast. That's the difference. So everything has a proper place. And in light of this, cell phone usage is strongly discouraged during i'tikaf. We should not be sitting in i'tikaf and spending hours and hours on the phone. If you're newly married, maybe you should reconsider. Don't come in i'tikaf with the intention, or if you're working part-time, at the same time I'll be working on my phone, conference calls, then your whole mind is in your work. That is not something that you want to be doing. Except in cases of emergencies. We strongly recommend all those performing i'tikaf, keep your cell phones off and store them in your suitcases. Just keep it. Don't keep it lying around. As I said, don't make it a test for other believers that they see nice iPhones lying around there and they're tempted to take it. Number 8, attendees should ensure they are dressed appropriately. This happens sometimes with the youth in the nighttime, the sleeping time, they relax, they're just in the shorts. Remember, you're in the masjid, you're in i'tikaf, and there are people around you, you're not in your own bedroom. Make sure your satar is covered from completely at a bare minimum. And you're properly, that's from the navel to below the knee. And you're properly covered at all times, even when you are sleeping. When you're sleeping, make sure you are covered with the sheet. It's not that you're turning around and your body is getting exposed and people are sleeping right next to you. That is highly inappropriate. So remember, some of us may not have slept in a public place with others around us since college dorming life, or if you have not gone out in Jamaat, or you have not, so you have to remember, or if you go in Hajj, you recall, you sleep very close, the people will be sleeping not too far from each other, very near each other. So we have to make sure we are properly covered when you're sleeping. Masjid Darus Salam will be providing iftar, and will be providing dinner, and will be providing suhoor. This is free of cost to all those performing i'tikaf. There is no mandatory money involved. However, attendees are welcome and encouraged to contribute to cover overhead costs of food and expenses of at least $15 a day. So this is what is strongly recommended, $15 a day. So you can write a check for $150 for the 10 days. And you can write in the memo, i'tikaf. And you can put it in the masjid wall. You don't have to give it to me, just put it in the masjid wall where it says masjid. Donation, $150 check. That was strongly recommended to cover your own food. Number 10. Actually, the food is so much, every year the feedback is make it less. You were here last year? Before, yeah. So it's enough food, inshallah. Number 10. According to the Sharia, for one sunnah i'tikaf to be valid, one needs to be in the masjid at all times. From all of the above, if there's anything that is the most important lesson why you had to come today, why it's mandatory, is this number 10. Because this is the biggest problem. So open your ears and your minds and your hearts. Is that if you are doing sunnah i'tikaf, the biggest rukn of the i'tikaf, the pillar of the i'tikaf, is that you remain in the masjid. If you step outside the masjid, even accidentally, then your sunnah i'tikaf is gone. One mistake occurs, one honest, simple mistake, then your sunnah i'tikaf is broken for that year. You have to, I cannot overemphasize this. You have to remain within the boundaries of the masjid. Therefore, you have to know and learn what the boundaries of the masjid are. So we will do a walkthrough, physical walkthrough, we'll walk and we'll show you all the boundaries of the masjid. We will put the tape as well. There is a difference between masjid structure and masjid proper. This whole structure is the masjid. The whole parking lot also is waqf, it belongs to the masjid. The entire property, where the fenced in area. So this is all the masjid structure and masjid property. But then there is a masjid proper. The entire area is waqf lillahi ta'ala, is endowed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is one particular area which is the masjid proper. When you're doing i'tikaf, you have to remain within the limits of the masjid proper. You cannot go into the masjid structure even. What is the difference in the ahkam? There are many differences in the ahkam. For example, talking about any dunyavi affair is haram in the masjid proper. So that's why we have to make sure what is the masjid proper limit. Is there any place for people to talk? And then also is that women who are in the state of hayd, but it's not only women in the state of hayd, it's also men who are in the state of major ritual impurity. The difference is if a male is they cannot enter the masjid proper. When a male is also in hadith akbar, in a major ritual impurity, major najasa, state of najasa, then he will take a ghusl right away. And the woman, when she is in a state of hayd and menstruation, she cannot take a ghusl until the hayd is over. So 7 to 10 days in a month, she cannot enter the masjid proper. But we have educational programs. And we have classes for sisters. We have Sunday Academy where sisters come and learn. And we have tafsir classes. And we have teachers who are coming. And the teachers, they cannot teach the students if they're going to take 7 days off every month. What's going to happen to students if every month, 7 days, the teacher is not there? So the teachers have to come every day to teach. So they're coming in this structure. So therefore, you might say from an i'tikaf perspective, make the whole structure masjid proper. then we can go everywhere, it will be free. But that's why I'm giving you the background. There are other considerations too. We have to consider mu'takifin, but we also have to consider the women as well. That's why there are some areas of this structure are outside the masjid. Now the kitchen, for example, it's outside the masjid proper. You cannot enter the kitchen. The sunnah itikaf people cannot enter the kitchen. The food will be brought to you in the masjid, but you will not enter the kitchen. This side prayer hall here will be open in Tarawih time. Just like on that side, this side. That is outside the masjid, because that's where the sisters have their weekly tafsir classes and other programs. So we kept it outside the masjid proper. Now even if this door is open, see that door is open, this door will also be open. And when a lot of fathers come with, when there are little boys making a lot of noise in the Tarawih time, last day we announced, the fathers, please, with the young kids, go and pray salah in that room. That's if you're not in itikaf. If you're in itikaf, then you cannot go in that hall, because that is outside the masjid proper. Downstairs in the multi-purpose hall, the majority, 90% of the hall is the masjid proper. But there's a series of pillars, and that will be highlighted for you. And on the west side of those pillars is outside the masjid. That's the area outside the masjid proper, and the women who are not in the state of purity can come and sit on that side. You need to be in the masjid at all times. One is only allowed to leave the masjid to use the bathroom or to do wudu or to take a farad shower. There was a question you had asked about showers, right? So this is many, I'm letting you know, since you will see both types of fatwas. There are fatwas that it is not permissible to leave the masjid to take even the shower for Jumu'ah. But there are even Hanafi fuqaha, even Deobandi ulama, Mufti Taqi Usmani, in Umdat al-Fiqh, other fuqaha have given permission for sunnah ghusl, for mustahab sunnah ghusl on Friday. So you can leave the masjid for that. Even when one leaves to perform wudu or use the bathroom, care should be taken that one does not spend extra unnecessary time outside of the masjid. So you leave the masjid to go to the bathroom. The bathroom is not masjid proper, but you make sure that you spend minimal time there and come back into the masjid. You should not hold conversations in the bathroom area or the wudu area. Attendees should be mindful of this, as leaving the masjid unnecessarily will spoil one's i'tikaf. All right. So if you are in the masjid, if you waste your time, if you're on the computer, if you're on the phone, it does not invalidate your i'tikaf. It just decreases your thawab. But if you leave the masjid boundary, then it cancels your i'tikaf. So what happens is that your sunnah i'tikaf is broken, and now you're converted to nafal. On top of that, this particular day that you started the i'tikaf and then you ended up breaking it, qada is lazim. You have to make it up. So how are you going to make qada? With fast. So outside of Ramadan, if you come in, you have to take one. If you had to take one day before Maghrib, come into the masjid, stay the whole night. The next day, eat suhoor, fast up till Maghrib, 24 hours, qada. That would be difficult. That is why we recommend that, since you already took time off to make i'tikaf last 10 days, unfortunately your i'tikaf broke, you have to make one day qada. You don't have to make 10 days qada. You just have to make the one day qada, the last day. So what you do is, make tawbatillah, cry to Allah, oh Allah, my sunnah i'tikaf is broken, inshallah I'll try next year. And then that day that you broke it, say you broke your i'tikaf after Zohar, you stepped outside. Then your i'tikaf is broken. The rest of the day you can make nafal i'tikaf. But Maghrib of that day, you make niyat, I'm going to do one day qada, before Maghrib. Before the adhan of Maghrib, you are in the masjid, and from that Maghrib till the next Maghrib, you remain in the masjid boundary. You're not in sunnah i'tikaf, nafil i'tikaf, you can go in and out anymore. You're not in sunnah i'tikaf for 10 days. You're in qada i'tikaf of one day. Do you follow? And then one day you have to make sure you remain within the boundary. It's the easiest thing, is make up the qada right now, during these 10 days. And then what will happen? After that qada, the remaining days you are now in nafil i'tikaf. So you will be in i'tikaf as long as you remain in the masjid. When you go out, then you're out. When you're in, you're in. Number 11, attendees should try to maximize their time in i'tikaf by avoiding conversations with one another. If you're not talking on the phone, don't be talking to each other about, tell me about your life, and and I'll tell you about my life. Right. Number 12 is any additional questions or issues that arise should be directed either to myself, Minhajuddin, or Mufti Azimuddin. And for logistical related matters, you could see Hafiz Umar Balla, who's in the back there. This is Hafiz Umar Balla. Most of you should know him. He will be the coordinator for the itikaf. Or a brother Sa'adat Afzal. He is around. He is the office manager. We will introduce you to him too. The goal of these rules is to provide a comfortable and spiritually uplifting experience for all attendees. May Allah Ta'ala allow us to fully benefit from this incredible opportunity. And may Allah allow us to leave the itikaf having achieved what we had come seeking. Jazakumullah khair. Now I'll just cover quickly the fiqh of itikaf, and then we will do the walkthrough and let you go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallam. So now you can pay attention to the screen. This, I don't know why this thing came. When I was working on the computer, I did not have this, all these levels in the background. It's distracting. I don't know what happened. La hawla wa la quwwata. Can you get rid of this? Yeah, you're proficient with PowerPoint? Can you see it? Oh, I escaped from the team viewer. I think you, I don't know what they're. Yeah, it's still showing there. It's over, showing on the screen. I think he's connecting you temporarily. Yeah, this is the PowerPoint itself. Oh, yeah. Until then, any questions so far? I can take your questions. No questions? Yeah, so staying overnight, the kids are not allowed. The kids can come in during the day, but the kids are not allowed to stay overnight. Yes? If you do Chase QuickPay, there is no percentage cut off. But if you do it through a credit card, PayPal, yeah, there will be. Yeah, so that's why zakat is best if you either you just write a check or do it through Chase QuickPay, then it will go 100%, or you'll have to add that fee. Beyond that, there's no administrative overhead cost or anything. How many are doing itikaf for the first time? 10 days. MashaAllah. May Allah accept. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Al-mu'takifu ya'takifu dhunub wa yajri lahu min al-hasanat ka'amil al-hasanati kulliha. There are two sides to this. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said the mu'takif is the one who automatically is protected from all the sins. He's protected from all the sins because he is in the confines of the masjid. So in the masjid, you will not hear, your ears are protected from hearing music and from inshallah hearing ghiba and backbiting and from hearing haram things. Your eyes are protected from looking at haram. There's no billboards here, there are no people here, there's no non-mahram that you will be seeing. Your eyes are protected from looking at haram. Your ears are protected from listening to haram. You will be protected from eating haram. So you are naturally protected from all the sins. So that's half of. What about the good deeds? So you're protected from sins. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَيَجْرِي لَهُ مِنَ الْحَسَنَاتِ, and he will get all the good deeds, كَعَامِلِ الْحَسَنَاتِ كُلِّهَا, like the one who is doing the good deeds outside. If somebody says, yeah, well, if he's in itikaf, then he cannot attend a janazah, he cannot go to the graveyard. There's so much reward in that. He's missing out in all of these good deeds. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, but there's one caveat, you have to be aware of this. Is if you're just sitting in itikaf, you're not going to get all the good deeds outside unless you have the intention. And you say, Ya Allah, if I was not in itikaf, then I would go for this good deed. If you have the sincere intention that if I was not in itikaf, then I would participate in this good deed, what will happen? You will get the reward for all of these good deeds. Okay, I think we are okay now. The fiqh of i'tikaf. So some malaika or jannat came and fixed it remotely. This i'tikaf comes from the word al-akfu wal-ukufu. Al-akfu wal-ukuf means to stay firm on something or to prevent something. Like Allah Ta'ala says, وَالْهَدِيَ مَعْكُوفًا أَن يَبْلُغَ مَحِلَّهُ. This is an example of a person who, this is in Surah Al-Baqarah talking about a person who makes intention to perform Umrah or Hajj, and he's ma'akuf, he is prevented. Like Rasulullah ﷺ was ma'akuf, he was prevented at Hudaybiyah. And likewise Allah Ta'ala says, فَأَتَوْا عَلَىٰ قَوْمٍ يَعْكُفُونَ عَلَىٰ أَصْنَامٍ لَهُمْ. With Bani Israel, Musa ﷺ came, they came upon a nation, they passed by, يَعْكُفُون, who were firmly sitting on the worshipping of idols. So the Bani Israel got impressed and then they created their own idol. That's another story. Anyway, this shows the usage of the word. It means to stay firm on something. Islamic definition is هي هو الإقامة بنيته في مسجد تقام فيه الجماعة بالفعل للصلوات الخمس. To remain with the intention of i'tikaf in a masjid wherein 5 times daily congregational salawat are held. So you cannot make i'tikaf in your store, in your office, right? In the males, you cannot make i'tikaf at your home. You have to make i'tikaf in a masjid where 5 times salawat are held. And look at the main point in the definition is that remaining with intention. Do rukun, there are 2 rukun. One is to remain, just to be there physically. Just like for Hajj, you have to be in Arafat. Likewise, you have to be in the masjid. And the second is you have to have the niyyah. That's it. If you have the niyyah, I'm in i'tikaf, and you're physically in the masjid, then you are in i'tikaf. That's it. Ali radiallahu anhu, Hudayfa radiallahu anhu, and Aisha radiallahu anhu narrate, La i'tikafa illa fi masjidin jami'in. There is no i'tikaf but in a masjid that is jami', in which there is congregational salawat. This is in Musannaf Abdul Razak, which is a book of hadith in Abu Dawud. Certain acts of worship have an appearance of showing one's love to Allah. One of them is i'tikaf. Hajj is like that too. Hajj is an ibadah of junoon, where your hair is disheveled, your clothes are disheveled, your state of ihram, and you're saying labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, and you're going around the Kaaba, madly in love with Allah. That's the flavor of Hajj. Likewise, i'tikaf, the flavor of i'tikaf is that it is ishq, in love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That, oh Allah, bas main aapke dar par aakar baith gaya hu. I'm at your home, I'm at your doorstep. I'm not going to leave until you forgive me. That should be the feeling. I have cut myself off from everyone. I am here at your home and I'm lying in your home and I will not leave until you forgive me. One severes all ties with others and strengthens relationship with his beloved. He places himself in the house of his beloved. He makes an earnest effort to win the favor and love of Almighty Allah. And inshallah, a special bond will get created between him and Allah. Ata al-Khurasani rahmatullahi alayhi says, a person performing i'tikaf is like a person putting himself in the court of Allah and saying, oh Allah, until you do not forgive me, I will not leave. Most definitely he'll be forgiven. So the person throughout the year is supposed to be worshipping Allah. Because every day we breathe the air of Allah and we drink the water of Allah, we worship Allah throughout the year. But if it gets to a pinnacle and height, increased ibadah is in the month of Ramadan. Then in this month of Ramadan, it increases when? In the last 10 days. And this in last 10 days, the final extreme peak is now Laylatul Qadr. And when is Laylatul Qadr? It is during the last 10 days. Can you physically be doing dhikr and ibadah for every single second from when does Laylatul Qadr start? From Maghrib till Fajr. Hiya hatta matla'il Fajr. Every single second, without a break, do ibadah on Laylatul Qadr. Is that possible? On top of it, you don't even know which one is Laylatul Qadr. So every single night of all 10 nights, from Maghrib till Fajr, you don't even stop to eat or drink or talk or anything. You're continuously engaged in ibadah. Is that physically possible? It's not physically possible. How are you going to? Because you're going to have to take a break for your physical needs. But the one who is in i'tikaf, he is the one who is constantly in ibadah, because just by being virtue of itikaf, even if he's sleeping in itikaf, he's in ibadah. So therefore, you got guaranteed 100% coverage of your Laylatul Qadr night in ibadah. Because Laylatul Qadr is one of the last 10 nights, most likely one of the last 10 odd nights. Where are you going to be? You're going to be in itikaf. So you're going to be 100% covered that your whole Laylatul Qadr will be in ibadah, even if you end up sleeping through it. Because you are in itikaf. And being itikaf itself is in ibadah. So your Laylatul Qadr is secure this way. You cannot miss it. There's no way you're going to miss the Laylatul Qadr sawab, inshaAllah. The Prophet ﷺ had a special attachment with itikaf. Every year, with great care, he would perform itikaf. Nabi ﷺ, this is very important. Gaur kijiye is baat par. Har saal, every year, he performed itikaf. Rasulullah ﷺ performed itikaf every single year. He kept itikaf for an entire month one time, 20 days one time, 10 days one time. One Ramadan, when he could not keep itikaf, he made it up in the month of Shawwal. Why he could not keep itikaf, we will cover that. One year due to traveling, he could not keep it, so he kept it following year 20 days. But otherwise, on average, Rasulullah ﷺ kept itikaf every year. Abu Salman radhiyallahu anhu narrates, once I went to Abu Sa'id Khudri radhiyallahu anhu and I asked him, won't you come with us towards the date palm trees and have a talk? So Abu Sa'id went out and I asked him, tell me, what did you hear about Laylatul Qadr? Abu Sa'id radhiyallahu anhu replied, once Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed itikaf first 10 days of Ramadan, and we did the same with him. This is when he did the whole month. Then Jibreel alayhi salam came in and said, what you're looking for is ahead of you. Then he made itikaf second 10 days. We did itikaf with him. Then Jibreel alayhi salam said, what you're looking for is still ahead of you. On the morning of the 20th Ramadan, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a khutbah and said, whoever has performed itikaf with me should continue it, because I have been shown the Laylatul Qadr, but I was made to forget it. It is one of the odd nights of the last 10 nights. So there's a lot of wisdom behind why it was hidden, because if it was only one night, then we would not make ibadah the remaining nights, we would make ibadah only one night. Now this way, to find it, we end up making ibadah remaining nights, for those who do ibadah. And those who don't do ibadah, because they're missing Laylatul Qadr on an ambiguous night, it's not known, the level of the sin is less. If it was specified this is Laylatul Qadr and yet they are wasting it, the level of their sin would have been more. So it's a mercy on the sinners too, that the level of their sin is less. And it's a mercy on those who do ibadah, that the level of ibadah is more. It's a mercy for both ends. I remember that I was prostrating in mud and water. That means in his dream he saw that there was sand on the floor of Masjid Nabawi. They didn't have carpet, they had sand. And when it would rain, they did not have complete waterproof roof. The water would leak and it would become mud. So lessons we learn from the hadith: Laylatul Qadr has been kept hidden from this ummah, so we may strive to do ibadah. Normally it's difficult to pray every moment. However, if you're in itikaf, you will automatically to be considered in ibadah. This is number 2 point, I mentioned it to you guys just now. Number 3, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the purest and closest to Allah. Still he strived to achieve Laylatul Qadr. We are in more need to strive for it. Ibn Abbas narrates that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, whoever goes to help in need of his brother is better for him than being in itikaf for 10 years. And whoever performs itikaf for one day for the pleasure of Allah will place 3 trenches between him and the fire of hell. Each trench distance is between the sky and earth. If you make itikaf for one day, there's 3 trenches between you and the fire of Jahannam. Inshallah, you will be making itikaf for 10 days. Ibn Abbas narrates that Rasulullah said, the person performing itikaf abstains from sins, he receives the reward for good actions that are committed outside. This is a hadith I just mentioned to you. Lessons: when a person is itikaf, every second of his is in worship, even when he's sleeping, eating, relaxing. You get reward from abstaining from sins. And even though you cannot do the good deeds outside, if you have the intention, you will receive the reward for the good deeds outside. Am I going too fast? I'm doing fast for your sake, because I know everyone is busy, Ramadan, Sunday, and you're taking 10 days off, so you need to go through this fast. If I'm going too fast, raise your hand. I'll slow down. Abu Hurairah narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, some individuals are like awtad. They are the pegs of the masjid. They're always in the masjid. And their companions are the angels. If they're absent, the angel go searching for them. Why are they not here? If they fall sick, the angels visit them. So you, at least for the 10 days, will become pegs of the masjid. The angels will be looking for you, will be your companions. Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would perform itikaf on the last 10 days of Ramadan. This was the sunnah mustamira, continuous sunnah. Nafi' said Ibn Umar would show us the place where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed itikaf. Abdullah bin Umar was a student of Rasulullah, and Nafi' was a student of Ibn Umar, his freed slave. So this is the golden chain. Nafi narrates from Ibn Umar from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he showed him. This is where? Where is it? It is called Ustawanatu Sarir, the pillar of the Sarir. Nafi radiallahu anhu narrates that Ibn Umar said, when the Prophet ﷺ would perform itikaf, a bedding or bed would be placed for him behind the pillar of Tawbah. There's the Ustawana Tawbah. Behind the Ustawana Tawbah is the Ustawana Sarir, where the bedding of Rasulullah ﷺ was placed. So in the Masjid Nabawi, right, this is the mihrab of Masjid Nabawi, and you have these different, this is the Hujra Aisha radiallahu anha where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grave is, and these are the pillars here. So you have Ustawan Abu Lubaba. This is where Abu Lubaba radiallahu anhu tied himself up because he made a sin until Allah forgave him. And I have the pointer, but do you see the cursor? The cursor, there it is. So over here is Sutun Sarir. Sarir means the bedding of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the pillar where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's bedding used to be, and it's written on there in Arabic. If you go there to Masjid Nabawi, may Allah take all of us multiple times. It says Hadihi on top. This is Hadihi. This is Ustuwana, which means pillar, and As-Sarir. Alif Lam Sin Ra Ya Ra. As-Sarir. Hadihi Ustuwana to Sarir. This pillar marks the exact location where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make i'tikaf always. So lessons we learn from the hadith. Each hadith has a lesson that it is permissible to put bedding in the masjid or a small bed. Permissible for a person to make i'tikaf at the same place in the masjid every year, but you cannot force people to move and it cannot be inconvenience to others. You can't say, I made i'tikaf here last year, so you move out. If you come there first, then you can get it, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made i'tikaf in the same place every year. Aisha radiallahu anha narrates Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to sit in i'tikaf in last 10 days of Ramadan, and I used to pitch a tent for him. After offering the morning prayer, he used to enter the tent. So the tent was in the masjid. For Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not necessarily for you. We cannot have all of tents here. Aisha radiallahu anha asked him for permission to make i'tikaf. Okay, this is a hadith about Aisha's i'tikaf, radiallahu anha. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam granted her permission. Why he granted her permission is because she did not have to go deep into the masjid. Her house is where the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, attached to the masjid. So there was a door from her house, it would go straight into the masjid. Now if she put a tent in the masjid, then she is enclosed, she's in parda, she's in hijab from the rest of the men. She's in the masjid. And then she has to go to the bathroom, needs to relieve herself. Then she just goes straight into her home without crossing over the men area. You understand? She's not crossing into the men area. She goes from her tent straight into her room. Like if that was her house and she puts a tent right by this door. So she's in that corner. So she's in the i'tikaf, then she goes straight into her room, back and forth like that. So he granted Aisha radiallahu anha permission, so she put up a tent. But then look what happened. Hafsa radiallahu anha heard about it, she pushed a tent. And Zainab radiallahu anha heard about it, put a tent. Then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came in the morning and said, all these tents, what is going on here? He said, no, Hafsa bint Umar, Zainab bint Khuzaymah, Zainab radiallahu bint Jahash. Zainab bint Khuzaymah radiallahu anha passed away. Zainab bint Jahash. She put a tent. He was told the whole situation. This is a competition. Competition, good competition in good deeds. They made such a big iftar, they had so many items, so I have to have so many items. This is a competition nowadays, right? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what made you do this? Is this taqwa? Ahadi taqwa? All you tents, all the women in the masjid put tents. Remove all of them so I do not see it. Then all the tents were removed, and he did not sit in i'tikaf that Ramadan. So he removed the tents of Hafsa and Zainab because they were creating a problem. And just so that they don't feel bad, he removed the tent of Aisha Siddiqa. Because even though her tent was okay, but he said that when I'm removing Hafsa and Zainab radiallahu anhuma's tent, I don't want to give special preference to Aisha radiallahu anha. So she doesn't feel bad, he removed her tent. So they don't feel bad. Hafsa and Zainab don't feel bad, he removed her tent. But then she will feel bad that, oh, I had an okay tent. So he said, I will not make i'tikaf too. That's why I told you the story will come which year he did not make i'tikaf. He didn't make i'tikaf this year. For the sake of Aisha radiallahu anha does not feel bad. Lessons. He first granted Aisha radiallahu anha permission, then forbade her. Her house was right next to the masjid, was not difficult for her to go into her room. Other wives' houses were at a distance, they would have to go in front of the men, and that's why he said this is not taqwa. He told Aisha radiallahu anha to remove her tent as well, so the other wives don't feel hurt. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam removed his tent, so Aisha radiallahu anha does not feel hurt. We also learn number 4 that to seclude yourself in curtains or a tent is permissible. It should not cause inconvenience to others. It should not make the masjid congested, and which will happen here. Therefore, there's no tents because it'll make it congested. If you are in a big Jami masjid in some other place where there's, mashallah, 40,000 square feet huge center, and mashallah, there are 3 people in itikaf, you can have 3 big tents. But that's not the case here. A wife should not sit in itikaf without the permission of her husband, and if there is a valid reason, the husband can take his permission back. Aisha radhiyallahu anha narrates when the Prophet ﷺ would sit for itikaf, he would bring his head close to me while his feet were in the masjid, and he would not enter the house except for human needs. Meaning, Rasulullah ﷺ would be sitting in the Masjid Nabawi, and he would lean over, and she would comb his hair and oil his head. It is permissible to wash the head and comb the hair on the condition that one stays in the masjid and water flows out of the masjid. Someone from outside can also do these acts for the one in itikaf. If some part of the body goes out of the masjid, it does not break the itikaf as long as majority of the body is in the masjid, such that someone looking will assume him to be still inside. If someone looks at you, they'll say, oh, he's in the masjid. He's just leaning outside of the masjid. Then you're okay. It is permissible to leave the masjid to relieve oneself. Aisha radhiyallahu anha narrates the Prophet ﷺ would pass by the sick while he was performing itikaf. He would continue to walk without diverting and would ask him about his health. Meaning, if Rasulullah ﷺ is going outside the masjid to go to the bathroom, if he passes by someone sick, he does not even pause to say, how are you? Are you feeling better? While walking, he would ask, how are you? What does that indicate for us? This is what we were talking about earlier. If you think we're being too hardcore, don't have conversation in the wudu area. Rasulullah ﷺ, we're learning this practice from Rasulullah ﷺ, that he did not even pause to ask, how are you doing? Even if he met a sick person, while walking, he would ask. Not permissible to leave the masjid without valid excuse. If you want to see the sick person, it's permissible while walking. And you cannot take a different route for this purpose. Take the shortest route. Safiya radiallahu anha went to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to visit him when he was in the masjid when itikaf in the last 10 days. Safiya is the wife, Safiya bint Huyay ibn Akhtab. And she talked with him a little while. Then she got up to go home. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam accompanied her. And when they reached the gate of the masjid, opposite the door of Salma, 2 Ansari men were passing by, and they said, Assalamu alaikum. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Innaha zawjati. I just want to let you know she is my wife. They said, Subhanallah, do you think we would have a bad opinion about you that you're talking to a stranger? We would never think like that. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no, shaitan runs through the body like the blood runs through the veins. And he taught us an etiquette that always, if you are in a compromising situation that outwardly looks compromising, looks bad, then it is your responsibility to clarify your position to others so they don't have a bad opinion about you. So he told him, don't leave. She is my wife, Safiya. He said, no, I wanted to clarify so that shaitan does not inject a wrong thought in your mind. What do we learn? If someone comes to visit a person in itikaf, it is permissible to talk to a visitor. A woman can come to visit, but she should not come in front of men. Laws of hijab should be adhered to. If someone comes to visit you, you can see them up to the door. You can see them up to the door without leaving the masjid. It is permissible to talk privately with the wife in itikaf, and one should remove doubts from others' thoughts. Aisha radhiyallahu anha narrates, the manner to perform itikaf for a person is that he does not visit the sick, does not participate in funeral prayers, does not touch a woman, does not have relations, does not leave without extreme necessity. There is no itikaf without the fast, and there is no itikaf except in a congregational masjid. This is a hadith of Abu Dawud. Who can do itikaf? As long as you're Muslim and sane. Muslim and aqil. So everyone here is sane, alhamdulillah. Everyone is Muslim. So we can do itikaf. Woman should perform itikaf in the confinements of her home in a room where she usually prays her salah. So that's the itikaf for a woman, is in a corner of the home where she dedicates herself for ibadah. Where can itikaf be done? Only in a masjid. The best and most rewarding itikaf is in Masjid al-Haram in Makkah. Second most rewarding is in Masjid al-Nabawi. Third is in Masjid al-Aqsa. Fourth is where the Jummah is performed. And fifth is where any 5 salawat are performed. If you're in a masjid where only 5 salawat are performed, then it is permissible to leave the masjid to perform Jummah and come back. What are the different types of itikaf? There's a wajib itikaf if you make a vow. You say, mannat, nadhar. I make a vow, mannat, lillahi alayya. For Allah I make a vow, I will make itikaf 3 days. So then it becomes wajib. Sunnah is last 10 days of Ramadan, and nafal is any time throughout the year. Sunnah itikaf starts on the 21st night, which is 25th, correct? Of June, 25th of June. So you have to be here before Maghrib. Before Asr finishes. Don't even say before Maghrib, because then you're going to plan for Maghrib. This is problem. If you have taken days off and you want to do 10 days Sunnah itikaf, but small little problem is traffic. There was an accident on North Avenue, it backs up. And if the sunset occurs, you're not on North Avenue. You're not in the parking lot. You're out of your car, you're on the way to the masjid by the door, and the adhan goes. Khalas, 10 days Sunnah itikaf gone. You have to be inside. If you're still by the shoe racks and the adhan starts, your itikaf is gone. Because you're not in the masjid proper yet. You understand? Please, brothers, don't waste your Sunnah itikaf. Try to be here after Asr. You have to be inside the masjid proper before the adhan of Maghrib on June 25th. Okay. Everyone got that? Right. Must stay within the boundary masjid, wo to guzar chuka kai dafa. Difference between masjid building and masjid proper. The bathroom, the hallways, the offices, some areas of the basement, some in the wudu area are outside the masjid. What is the necessity to leave if you have to go to the bathroom? If you have a ghusl for farad ghusl and the ghusl of Jum'ah, wudu, getting food if no one is available, number 4 does not apply because we have Hafiz Umar Badla and his team, they are bringing the food for you. You are not going to be a muezzin to call the adhan outside the masjid because the adhan itself is called in the masjid. Traditionally, the adhan used to be called outside the masjid so people can hear. The azan is for outside people to know salat time came. Iqama is for those in the masjid, the jamaat is starting. So iqama is here, azan used to be outside. But now we call the azan on the mic. If there is no Jummah in the masjid, you go to another masjid for Jummah. That's there, alhamdulillah, we do have Jummah here. And na'udhu billah, may Allah protect, if the masjid collapse. If the masjid collapse, or there's a fire, or there's an attack, then you can leave the masjid. Otherwise you cannot. That's how extreme the scenarios are only. If itikaf breaks, you have to make qada for that one day only. When we were waiting for the PowerPoint, I explained this. So I'm not going to explain it again. If there is time in the same Ramadan, make it within the same Ramadan. What does it mean if there is time? That means that if you made the mistake on day 2, day 3, day 5, day 7, day 8, you can make the qada within. What if you make the mistake on day 10? Then you can't make it qada. You have to come back after Eid. And we can have a sign-up sheet. Who wants to do qada itikaf so we can prepare and cater for you. You have coordinate all the qada itikafs one day. Aaj tak kisi ne kiya, by the way. No one did. They made the mistakes. I don't know anyone who came for qada itikaf. No one honestly came and said, Mufti sahab, mujhe qada karna, I have to do qada itikaf. No one came. Even though I know the mistakes occurred. Maybe I have husn dhan, they did itikaf in their own masjids. But they never came back to do qada here. Yes? Yeah. No, if that's what I'm saying, you can do it same year. Let me explain this again. I thought everyone understood. Say you made a mistake on day number 2, day number 3. You stepped out of the masjid. So your sunnah itikaf is broken. You have to make qada not of 10 days. You only have to make qada of the one day unit, the last day unit. So every day it renews your niyyah. So you have the last day, you have to make it up. How do you make up that last day? Now you are, that remaining day till Maghrib, you are nafal itikaf. You made the mistake at Dhuhr time. Till Maghrib, you are in nafal itikaf. You can come in and out. But if you make your qada from Maghrib, then before Maghrib you make your niyat, I'm doing one day qada itikaf. And from Maghrib, that whole third day till the Maghrib of the next day, that 24-hour period, from Maghrib to Maghrib, you are going to remain within the confines of the masjid only, like a sunnah itikaf, and you are making one day qada. Your sunnah to gaya na. Sunnah is finished. Yeah, your sunnah, yeah, but once you made the intention and then if you break it, then your sunnah is gone. Your intention is gone. Sunnah to gaya usar ka. You have to make up one day. Instead of coming after Ramadan, after Eid and doing it and fasting in Shawwal, and because there is no itikaf without fast. So you have to do one whole day fast. Nafal itikaf is for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, madum to fil masjid. As long as I'm in and out of the masjid. Every time I'm in the masjid, I'm in itikaf, I'm out. So for nafal itikaf, fasting is not a condition. For sunnah itikaf, 10 days fasting is there because you're in 10 days of Ramadan. For vow, nazar, mannat also, the minimum time period for a vow is also 1 day, or 2 days, or 3 days. You can't go less than the unit of 1 day. And it has to be with a fast. And qada also has to be with a fast. So that's why if there is time in the same Ramadan, sit 1 more day with the intention of qada. So you're behaving like a sunnah itikaf person for that 1 day, but you're actually making a qada. If no days left for Ramadan, then sit any other day while keeping a fast. Any other day besides 1st of Shawwal, Eid day, 10th of Zulhijjah, 11th of Zulhijjah, 12th and 13th. Because those days is haram to fast. 5 days you cannot fast in the year. Qada of all 10 days is not necessary. Okay. Spend as much time in seclusion, remembrance of Allah, talk less as possible, pray nawafil, tilawat the Quran, dhikr of Allah, listen to lectures, read Islamic books. Number 3 here, like the investor, the one who gives you the advice in investing, he will tell you that you should diversify your investments, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Likewise, you should have different types of ibadah, so you don't get bored. Perform nafil for a while, then change the channel, do tilawat of the Quran, which is afdal al-ibadah, afdal al-zikr. Then do the dhikr, tasbih, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Unique benefits, unique blessings. We'll talk about it later. I cannot say about everything now. Then this istighfar has its own benefits. Then salawat ala Rasul has its own benefits. Then you can listen to lectures that are taking place live here, or if you have on your device, read Islamic books. So keep on rotating different things so you do not get tired. What are permissible acts in itikaf? It is permissible to eat in the masjid, sleep in the masjid. You know what? It is not permissible to eat in the masjid if you're not in itikaf. So if you are eating in the masjid, you should make a niyat of nafal itikaf. Otherwise, it's not permissible to eat. Buying and selling that which is necessary, cutting hair. If anyone is getting married, it's permissible to get a nikah done during itikaf. Changing clothes without exposing private parts. Checking the sick and prescribing medicine. Teaching lessons of the Quran. Sewing clothes, if your clothes ripped. A stitch in time saves 9. One time, there was a small thing tore in my shirt. I remember my dada, he came and told me, and he said, my grandfather, he said, a stitch in time saves 9. I learned this from my grandfather. So if you want to sew your clothes, disliked acts, total silence, assuming it to be part of piety. Yeah, so this is not in our deen. That some people think that cannot talk because I'm in itikaf. No, that's not, it's makruh. Futile talks is makruh. Bringing merchandise to sell it in the masjid. Taking up so much space, you're causing inconvenience to others. And getting paid work in the masjid while in itikaf. May Allah accept all of your itikaf. So, Hafiz Umar, anything? No, we will just walk together inshallah and look at the boundaries of the masjid. And after we go through this walkthrough, you're free to go. Any questions before we leave from here? They will come on June 25th before, I don't even want to say before Maghrib. Rather, what do you say? At Asr, or after Asr. Bring your bedding. Parking. Since you are going to be here for 10 days, and those who are in Sunnah Itikaf, so alhamdulillah, the masjid has purchased the building, which was formerly the welder's building. It is a white brick building. How far is it? Very near. This is the intersection of North Avenue, this North Avenue come on, and Swift Road. At the intersection of North Avenue and Swift Road, there's the one corner lot. This is the car lot. After the car lot, there's another lot there. This is the welder's lot. There's a white block building, white painted block building there. So please have a look at it on your way out now. That is the welder's lot. That is the property of the masjid, Darus Salam. So this car lot is still not purchased. We have to buy it, inshallah, with your help, inshallah. But we have bought the corner one. So it doesn't mean the whole thing. It's two different lots. Because people who are not aware of the property, they think it's just one property. It's not one property, there's two different lots. So that corner one is ours only, of the masjid. So please make sure you look at it on your way out. I would recommend when you leave, don't leave on North Avenue today. When you leave, leave from Swift Road. And when you're going on Swift Road, have a good look on your left hand side. Hopefully you get a red light on North Avenue, so you have a good chance. On your left hand side, you will see this entrance. Why you have to have a good look? It's because on the June 25th, you don't have much time. You have to be in the masjid before Maghrib, so you don't have time to explore then. So explore now, on Sunday. And park your car there. All those brothers who are doing itikaf, we request you, please park your cars in that welder's lot. So your car will be safe and will not be moved, and no one will be playing basketball by your car. It's a better place for your car. Better for you and better for us and better for everyone. It'll be safe there, inshallah. There's entry, and that lot has entry from North Avenue and from Swift Road. From North Avenue, and if you're coming east on North Avenue, then you can make a right into that lot. And if you are coming from Swift Road, you can if you're going north or south on Swift Road, either way you can make a right or left turn into the lot. Okay? And then what will happen here is that in last 10 nights, what do we have? We have Khatamul Quran night, when the entire parking lot is quadruple parked. Once you're in, there's no way you're out. It's completely triple, quadruple parked, block to block, like 2,000 people come here for the Khatam. So the Khatam night will be there. There will be a fundraising night will be there. 27 night will be there. So that's why we want, the itikaf people's cars should be there, so that people who are coming and going, they can park here, inshallah. In line. Yeah, don't say, ye bas hamari masjid hai, lihaza we can park anywhere. When we go to Walmart, how do we park? In the line. So likewise, when you come to the welder's lot, we should park in the line. They are parked in lines, inshallah. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, if you're local, it's to 10 days, what is your car going to do? Like our teacher used to say, ande degi kya? It's not going to give babies and have little cars coming out. What is it going to do for 10 days? So if somebody can drop you, it's even better. If your family members can drop you, if you have a wife or older sons or daughters or brother or sister, anyone can drop you and they can come pick you up, inshallah. That's the best option. Okay. So let us do the walkthrough. We're right from here where we are, this entire hall is definitely masjid proper. That hall is outside of the masjid. You know how this niyat works of the masjid proper? Is that it's irreversible. You can expand the masjid proper, but you cannot contract it. Once you expand it and you make the niyat and you say this area is part of the masjid proper, then you cannot take it out. But you can expand it. So this is our responsibility for us as the one who made the waqf, the original waqf. When we made the original waqf, we made the niyat, just this main prayer hall. This year, brothers will be sleeping in this side prayer hall too. This side prayer hall is the masjid. There are some faces here from last year. So you know that last year, this lobby we had not included in the masjid, it was out of the masjid. So everyone who was in itikaf had to go upstairs, downstairs, had to go through this side prayer hall. We had left the lobby outside of the masjid. Why? So that people who are talking about dunyavi matters, they go out into the lobby and they will not get the sin of talking in the masjid. The other consideration of women who are in state of hayd coming was not a consideration. Why? Because women in the state of hayd or not in the state of hayd, they never come in the lobby. So that was not a problem. The woman was not an issue. Why we had excluded the lobby? Just so that people, when they're talking about dunyavi affairs, they will not get the sin. But this year now, right at this moment, we are thinking of expanding the niyyah of the masjid to include the lobby, just so that the brothers who are in itikaf, when they want to go upstairs and downstairs, they can go through the lobby. They don't have to be disturbing those who are sleeping in this side prayer hall. तो आपके क्या राय है? Okay, So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. We make the niyyah now at this moment live. We're actually making it right now. We were discussing it before Dhuhr. We did not have time to make the niyyah. So, we are making the niyyah now, inshallah, that this lobby, this is a new, last year's it was not, will be now part of the masjid proper. So, this whole area, but we don't want it to become a congregational area where all the mutakifin are hanging out and just talking in groups. But this area will be part of the masjid now, the lobby. So, and it's important you know the history. Why it's important you know the history? It's because many people who did itikaf last year are not here. वो आपका हाथ पकड़ेंगे and they will stop you and say, oh, you're out of the masjid. Because they were drilled last year. Drilled really hardcore. आप थे ना उसमें? That you cannot go in the lobby. And we had identified, see, this is marble and that's granite, the side one. You can go on the granite, you cannot go on the marble. No, but now, inshallah, we are including the lobby in the masjid proper because women never enter in this side of the lobby as well. Up to the doors, up to though, not the external doors, up to the doors that lead to the shoe room. So the shoe room and the vestibule, beyond the area between the two doors, that will be outside of the masjid. So people who have dunyavi affairs will have to talk there only, and or outside, weather permitting. But this lobby will now be part of the masjid. This side prayer hall is part of the masjid. And then when you're going down, that area will be part of the masjid. The stairway is part of the masjid. The landing is part of the masjid. When you come down the stairs is the masjid. Then the first two classrooms are the masjid. We're going to walk there and show you. Up to the entrance of the wudu khana is the masjid. And then when you take a right, the small little hallway is the masjid. The kitchen is out of the masjid. The main multi-purpose hall is the masjid up to the pillars. And I will show you which pillars. Yeah, the water fountain is in the masjid up to the double doors. We will show you which double doors. We're just talking about double doors now. You want to see that? We'll go show you right now, inshallah. Any questions? This room is outside. Ye to pakka rahega. This room will remain outside the masjid until, inshallah, the women's wing is developed. The plan is the west wing will be a 3-story complete women dedicated building. Women's new prayer hall, and the expansion plan is there. Women's prayer hall will be there, women's classrooms will be there, women's cafeteria will be there. 3-story structure, no men, completely only women. 3-story building. And then we will take over that area. At that point, we could consider including it in the masjid. Up till now, but now we have to keep it for the women. The wudu area upstairs is not part of the masjid. You can go out there only if you need to, and then you come back. We will show you the boundary. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's go.